are live. It is Tuesday, and thank you for joining us for another episode of TransWorld Live. Here it's TransWorld Tuesdays, of course. We welcome you to the party. How has your season been going? At least in the Chicago area, we have finally gotten a chance to see a little bit of fall. So instead of those 70 and 80 degree weather, we're finally dipping down to seeing the 40s and 50s and a little bit of that R word. So I think that's going to hopefully pan out and bring everybody a lot of patrons this couple weekends here left in the season. Again, welcome to the show. We love that you're watching. If you want to let us know that you are watching, just chime in the chat there because we cannot see you unless you comment. So we appreciate you being here. Of course, our continued thoughts with all of those in Florida that are recovering from this amazing hurricane that's been a disaster. Sean, how are you? We're glad you're here. Thanks for being here. And of course, our continued love to Shannon Hops on a wonderful journey and recovery here for her medical issues. We love her and we miss her, and we hope she's doing great. Birthday time, of course. We got to talk. We got to talk tomorrow. Jeremy Ginsburg and Marcus Bales, both happy birthday tomorrow. On Friday, our good friend Holly Day. And on Sunday, Laura Armstrong. So a big happy birthday to all of them. And of course, we got a chance. It's October. Where would we be without getting a chance to go see some amazing shows, displays, home haunts, the lifeblood of our industry? So we took a chance and took a little jaunt out to a place called Canyon Trail Cemetery, owned by Jim and Dawn Slanker. You know those names because they're with Chicago Haunt Builders and are a key component to the Midwest Haunters Convention. Now, last time we tried this, Mother Nature helped us damage a phone. We had a lot better opportunity this time. So take a look. We hung out with Jim just a few nights ago. TransWorld, we are live in our new segment that Jen likes to playfully refer to as Where in the World is Chris? This week, we got a chance to hang out with the man, the myth, the legend, of course, part of the leadership and the guiding forces of Chicago Haunt Builders and the co-owner of the Canyon Trail Cemetery Home Haunt, one of the largest yard displays you're ever going to see. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Slanker.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm loving your shirt.
Well, thank you.
It's very festive.
You know, as a boomer, this is Halloween as we grew up. This is the vintage Halloween that we grew up.
Ben Armstrong and I were just talking because we have a similar Svengoolie style, like kind of tiki horror themed shirt. So I dig it. It's in fashion. A lot of people are wearing them. So how are you doing? Where you get a chance to see your amazing display?
Oh, we're awesome. We're up and running. We started last week.
Awesome.
And yeah, so it's been busy all even in the first week this early into the season.
We're strategically placing this camera right now so you can't see everybody that's walking around, but it's a Thursday night and the place is crazy packed and we're not damaging any phones this time, so that's great.
I did offer to get the hose out.
You did.
The last time we were here, it was pouring rain.
Obviously, you are a guiding force with Midwest Haunters Convention, with TransWorld, with home haunters all around the country who are looking to make their displays better, to make their walkthroughs, to make the jump into pro haunting. What guidance would you give? You've been doing this for a long time. What guidance would you give to anybody that's just starting out?
You know, probably the biggest thing is always remember to keep it fun. People get so into it and put so much pressure on themselves that sometimes they just stop having fun.
That's a good point.
And you know, just remember, people don't know what you didn't get done and what's not finished, and just keep it fun.
That's great.
And enjoy, because it's too much work to do if you're not having fun.
It's true. Now, we've celebrated on the show that you are retired now because
Absolutely.
you're a valued member of our team, and we're really excited about that. How was set up different this year than in previous years? Because you had a little bit more time on your hands.
Right. Well, by Halloween night, my wife and I will have about 200 hours in setup. So historically, I would take a week off of work.
Sure.
It would be just for me 9 12-hour days, just to get the bulk of it out.
Sure.
And minimally running, and then it would be nights and weekends to finish it off and keep it going throughout the season. The downside to that is once I went back to work, I had to get up at 3:15, 3:30 in the morning
Just to squeeze.
So there wasn't a whole, if you do the math, there's not a whole lot of time for sleep in those. So setup was much more enjoyable. It was still physically demanding. I'm a fat old man, and you might not believe that this is the activity level I'm normally at. But so it was still physically tiring. But I took the luxury of many days sleeping until 6:15, maybe even 6:30.
Well, I am so grateful for your passion, for Dawn's passion, for everything that you do, for not only your own display, for your community, but for our haunt community in general, because you're giving people a lot of hope and guidance, and maybe they don't have that skill, but they have the heart, and you're helping them take that next step.
All we're trying to do is pay back some of what we've received in the past. Everything that we do here, because daily I get asked, do you do this in your job? And, in my work, I tend to receive emails and attended conference calls. That was just about as technical as I got. Everything that we do here, all the pneumatics, all the motors, all the electronics, everything we do, we've learned just over the years, most of it from other haunters. And if we can in some way pay some of that back and build up that community, we're happy to do it.
Got to pay it forward. Haunters helping haunters. Jim, thank you so much. It's just a short segment. We're going to have him live on the show in a couple of weeks. Congratulations on another amazing year to both you and your wife. And I hope Canyon Trail is very successful.
Well, we've got over 2,000 candy bars.
You need to come trick-or-treating here.
In stock, ready.
Okay.
Last year it was quiet. We only had 1,900 trick-or-treaters because of the snow.
Do you have a favorite trick-or-treat candy?
Despite my size, I don't eat sweets.
Smart. Okay.
Give me a big salt lick.
Oh, all right.
So, I guess maybe a payday because you get the sweet
Those are
savory.
good. Those are good.
But
All right. Well, we're going to have more with Jim in a few weeks. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll get back to the show.
thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you to Canyon Trail Cemetery. We got a chance to visit with him. We'll have him on the show in a little bit just to talk with him. So we're really excited. And thanks for sharing that segment with us. Of course, catching up here, Justin, Tommy, Halloween Hooligan. Thanks for joining us. Karen Murphy, our good friend there. SMM Mills, we love you. And Erica, thanks again, all of you, for joining us. We appreciate you. And thanks for letting us know that you're here. Paul, we can't do this without you. Welcome to the show. Of course, we are on the road to the legendary Haunt Tour. It is November 8th and 9th in Ohio. And we want to point out that this is a multi-city trip, which is really amazing, a little bit different from what we normally do with the legendary Haunt Tour. We're going to be starting off in Cincinnati on November 8th and then moving upstate to the Canton and Akron area on Saturday, November 9th. It's not a round trip ticket here, folks. You get to come into Cincinnati. You can drive, you can fly, whatever you want to do. Board the buses. If you want to drive yourself, you can do that as well. But we encourage you on the buses. All you have to do is sit back, relax, pop a beverage, and we'll do all of the work. Of course, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks here. You've seen it on the social media. We have 4 different haunted houses, including the USS Nightmare, Dent Schoolhouse, Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory, and the Factory of Terror and then a special visit to the Lynd family farm, which we are going to talk about in a little bit here. Of course, you can find out all of the information, get your tickets, find out the itineraries, get the hotels, get all of your travel plans at legendaryhaunttour.com. Now, we've got some important information. If you're listening and you haven't booked yet, all of the hotel blocks expire this Thursday, October 17th. So after that date, you'll have to find your own lodging on your own. We do have 2 hotels reserved with hotel blocks in both cities, and we still have some small availability. So if you're thinking about going, make sure you get those tickets. Make sure you book your rooms. The early bird discount expires on Halloween. That's right. Just like Cinderella, everything's gonna button up on November 1st here. So we want to make sure we can save you some money, be a part of this legendary tour, and get your tickets as soon as possible. Of course, no tour would be even possible without putting some of the biggest and brightest and well-known stars of our industry. And we are honored to have one of them with us right now, representing the Dent Schoolhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. TransWorld Live, help us in welcoming Bud Stross.
Hey guys, appreciate that.
What's going on, man? How are you?
You know, we're coming live from the top floor of the Dent Schoolhouse, so we are excited to be here.
You had mentioned you're like near the bell tower, right?
Yeah, right outside this office door, I can start ringing the bell.
Oh my gosh.
Close.
That's awesome. This is a legendary attraction. And I mean that pun, but you guys have been there forever. This has been on the top of everybody's to-do list, must-see list, #1 list from coast to coast, all the national lists, regional lists. It doesn't matter. You're going to see Dent Schoolhouse right there at the top.
We've been very lucky. Yeah, this haunt's been running for, 28 seasons now.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
It's been cool to see just how it's evolved over each year and each decade. So definitely very excited to be a part of it. Of course, happy to be on this tour as well.
It's not, when we sat down and we talked about it, you just have a name like Dent, you have to be able to find a way to get there, because everybody, I mean, we were just talking with the Big Scary Show a couple days ago, and those folks could not, I mean, they probably put a good 15 minutes just talking about how awesome Dent Schoolhouse is. And you see those comments out there, you see the people that, how Dent has changed their lives and their perspective on haunting. You guys have been around, you guys have learned so much and inspired so many.
We appreciate that. I mean, we were just yard haunters that had a passion, and I mean, still, even after doing it for this long, we're just lucky to be in the industry. You know, we're lucky to do this as a livelihood. So to us, it's still a nightmare come true.
Which is just beautiful. And it's a good reminder. You know, Jim was talking about that in our video about having fun and staying humble and just keeping so focused on what our main mission is to entertain folks. And you guys never have ever lost sight of that. And that's just amazing. Thank you for being a part of our tour.
Happy. Yeah, we're excited.
Now, for those that haven't been a part, I'm sure people have seen the name, but I'm sure some of the folks that are listening haven't seen it yet, and they can't wait till November to be able to be a part of this. Tell them a little bit about Dent Schoolhouse. What is this legend?
Yeah, you know what makes the schoolhouse really unique and exciting is it takes place in an actual haunted schoolhouse. You know,
So
it's not
awesome.
set up somewhere or torn down. Like, this thing it's legit. It is what it is. So opened up in the 1894. Shut down in the 50s. And in between there is this legend that came with the schoolhouse of a murderous janitor who obviously made some of the student body disappear, the reason for its closure, and then many years later became a haunted house. So, you know, we try to take the perspective of, we want to retell that story from start to finish. So from when you're on the property, from when you're inside to when you leave, you are reliving the horror movie that is the Dent Schoolhouse, and our Mickey Mouse of horror being, of course, Charlie the janitor. And it's just been kind of fun to see that evolve. And you know, we want, as you walk through, everything's kind of period based, kind of in that 1950s, as if things would have been shut down, and the schoolhouse each year just becomes more decrepit as you get further and further through your tour. So yeah, that's we love detail. We have a lot of great gifted artists that really put a lot of passion into, the set pieces and telling the story just from a scenic side too. So we build our sets and scenes to be ready for photos and video, but we have to light them to be scary. So I'm sure as those that walk through the tour, haunters like to take their time. So we'll do our best to try to lighten the experience, but it's still going to be dark.
We do love it dark. I mean, that's the best part. There's a certain badge of honor when you have haunters that are just gawking and messing up the show to a degree because they're going so slow. They just want to absorb everything and see it versus just rush through it like your normal patron.
Sure.
Oh, and what's beautiful is the storytelling too. We had a couple of comments earlier that talked about how Dent, like you mentioned, and they had said the exact same words. It was like walking through a real life horror movie right in front of your face, which is just a testament to all of your details, all of your artists, all of your hard work. So again, making that fantasy, that reality, the nightmare come true.
It's true. We appreciate that. I mean, we want it to feel lived in, even down to just the dust and the cobwebs all the way to the bigger set pieces. So we appreciate that. It's, it's fun to see people get lost in the haunt and forget that they're walking through an attraction, for a little bit. So that's super cool.
Now, okay, so we gotta ask for the gossip on this. We know the story about Charlie. We know the story that this building has been around in some formats since 1894, and we've read some stories. Some people have told us some things that there's definitely some paranormal activity, some ghosts. You work there all the time. You're there every day. What have you felt or seen, or anything that you could maybe whet our appetite with?
Yeah, we've been here for a while, so that's given us some time to really feel out the house, the old girl here. And there's definitely, I think from even when we first moved in to even where we're at now, there's definitely the house is always changing. I call it a living, breathing thing, even when she's not turned on. It's crazy. So it could be off season when we're doing construction and you'll start to hear things or smell things. Some of our actors, of course, have been touched, like with their shirts we have a pinching ghost that's on the first floor. That's notorious. Okay. Like radios will act up. Camera crews will lose battery power. All the typical things that you could ask for in a regular haunting. The schoolhouse definitely fits that definition.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. We've heard stories of like tools being moved or maybe coming back to scenes. Anything that you might be able to report on that?
Oh yeah. I start going through the list. I'm like, what are the spookiest ones? Because there's so many. I know when we first moved into the schoolhouse, and we're talking, a decade or two before, but we had like the radios start to go out because typically everyone's jamming to music when you're doing construction.
Sure.
And we started going through all the channels. And this is, of course, at like 2 a.m. That's so weird. We're in the middle and just static. And we switch over to AM. And all of a sudden, it's like this clear as day 1950s talk about ghosts and hauntings. It was one of those where it's like, I don't know, something's weird here. We got to shut it down. But yeah, things move. The footsteps that we hear on the first floor are probably some of the freakiest because you'll be working in the basement. And of course, it's all wood flooring upstairs. And all of a sudden, you'll start to hear the footsteps. And we have cameras everywhere, night vision. And when you realize there was no one else above you, it's definitely something that causes cold chills. So yeah, we've got our own built-in actors. They're ghosts. They're great.
I love them. And I've got goosebumps just talking about it. Now we have I'm really excited because Tater, who is in the green room, going to be talking to him later, actually wanted me to mention a certain circumstance that you and him actually felt with a woman in black.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny, that story, that happened right over there. So like luckily the office door's closed, but yeah, real quick, it's the end of the night. It's, we're upstairs. We have a green room where we feed our actors each Saturday night and talk about war stories. And of course, we're getting close to the witching hour and we're just all kind of relaxing. And I look up towards where the bell tower is and then look back down. And if you remember dial up or when you have a bad phone connection, all of a sudden like something pixelates and loads. That's what happened. And at the same time, this image is loading. This cold chill starts right at the bottom of my spine. And, usually they're real quick, right? It's a real big flash. Well, this one snakes and just goes up. And of course, right when it reaches right up here and my hairs are at their highest, I realized it's this shadow woman with really dark curly hair, no face, just this, dark shadow, and enough that like I went total white, like there was no color. So there's definitely some weird unexplained things, but to me, I've never felt in danger per se, because we're symbiotic, right? We're keeping the schoolhouse alive. So we just were on their terms some nights.
I love that. I love that. So not taking into account any of your paranormal help, how many cast and crew do you have to staff the entire facility?
Yeah, the schoolhouse runs on about 65 actors, give or take.
Okay.
And then, we hire and employ a staff of over 150 each year. And that's, of course, we have a monster midway out back with different games and sales opportunities there, parking, security. So yeah, the schoolhouse has definitely grown its staff and support crew over the years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I know one of the purposes of the Legendary Haunt Tour, of course, is to inspire, and all of us have our start somewhere. You had mentioned earlier that you started as a yard display and a yard haunter, home haunter. What year did you get, how long have you been in the industry, and what motivated you to take that step from home haunter to pro?
We were young guns back in the day. So this would have been, for mine, it was the late 90s. I just one day decided I wanted to decorate my house, and my parents allowed me to put a dummy out front. And I thought it was the coolest thing, and took some fake blood and stained the concrete. I'm like, yes, we're going to do this every year. And I think, like with most home and yard haunters, you just, that obsession and your attraction just builds each year. So it gets bigger, and then you take over more property and you buy more stuff. And that happened. So my family was doing that. And in the same city in Northern Kentucky, my business partner, Josh, now was doing the same thing with his family. And he grew up that way. Their family had been doing it for forever. So he didn't know any better. He was born into being monsters and having fun in October. So, it was really cool that myself, my dad, and Josh, we decided to form forces and try to do this as a living, because our yard haunts were just getting too big. It becomes too big of an obsession. We were having trouble getting it torn down for Christmas. And where do you put all your props? And luckily, serendipity and timing, right out of high school, my first year of college, we acquired the Dent Schoolhouse, which used to be called The Haunted House, which from the Boy Scouts. It was a charity haunted house.
Okay.
And these young kids and my dad all decided to put our passion to work. And here we are 19 seasons later. And of course, the schoolhouse been running for 28 as a haunted house, and we're still kicking and screaming. So it's very cool. It's crazy still to think about that. We started this small from our yards, and here we are. So we're very lucky.
So awesome. So awesome. We did have a question. During the Legendary Haunt Tour, will people be able to take photos and or video inside the haunt?
That is a great question. I know what photos and videos are always a big thing on whether you can or can't with most haunts. We will double confirm this for our tourees. Obviously, everything outside the Fall Fest, the Midway, 100% at this point is fair game for photo and video. A lot of it for us is safety for our actors, because we know night shot while you're walking doesn't work in a haunt setting, right?
And flashes. And
we don't want to do anything blinding to our actors or whatnot. But obviously, we love sharing our art and our craft, just because everything is beautiful as we can make it inside. So if that changes, we'll make sure that we let everyone that goes through know that, so they can take shots.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I know that you're available, and your entire staff will be available to talk and answer questions and be amazing guides to all of the work that you've done. But we got to talk about this after party. So you're going to throw this epic show on Friday and then hang out with everybody on the USS Nightmare on Friday night and be available for additional questions and answers, have a couple of beverages, and hang out and rub shoulders with all of these amazing people.
Yeah, we love TransWorld, and as yard hunters too, that was where we gained our knowledge. And going to these trade shows, you get to meet those that have been doing it for a living, right? So yeah, I'm always happy to talk shop, whether you're just starting or you've been in the industry forever or you have that dream. Please, we soaked it up as a haunt sponge back in the day, so always happy to lend any advice and just to say, hey, we're very excited to see this tour coming to Cincy, and obviously very happy to share Dent in any form or fashion that we can.
So exciting, so exciting. Now, of course, we have to ask the most crucial question of the entire interview. What's your stance on Skyline chili?
Oh. So yeah, obviously, if you're coming to the Natty, Cincy, Cincinnati, however you want to call
The
it,
Natty, I like that.
yeah, you gotta try our chili. And of course, there's like different waves, so it all depends on your brand of Cincinnati chili. But I think one of my favorite is being Skyline chili, which is cinnamon based.
Sure.
But I'm gonna say I enjoy it in the three-way fashion, and that is the food version, which is spaghetti, chili, and cheese on top. And that's the way to go. And then, of course, if you're here to try a cheese coney, which is hot dog in a bun, chili, and then cheese on top. And if you want to go crazy, add mustard and onion as well.
My mouth is watering already. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Very cool. Hey, being a Chicago guy, people always talk about food all the time. So we have to ask, obviously you have helped make a lot of dreams happen for a lot of people, but what inspires you? Where do you pull all of your, great thoughts from and just desire to keep driving and building and making things better and awesome for your audience?
I think it first starts with pop culture, right? It's what's happening with movies. It's what's happening with video games, all of that combined. And now I think too, with social media and how everyone's sharing, I really do think the haunt community is probably the strongest it's ever been, including like whether you're a small starting haunt, a yard haunt, or even a veteran haunt. I think the community now watching how everyone's quality just keeps being brought to a certain level, that helps us keep wanting to drive to make Dent better. Because there's nothing like being complacent and your haunt just being status quo. Like, no, you should always have a drive to be the best. And, that's what we want our crew to be. We know we can get better. We know we can get scarier. We can add more technology. We can do crazier builds. So it's always nice to hop on Facebook and social and just see what people are sharing. And it's like, that is awesome. And that's a first year haunt. Like that's, so it's everything. It's the community at a whole really gets you excited to just keep building and making things better.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better. It is. And that's the beauty of the Legendary Haunt Tour, where you have that opportunity to see your epic attractions, but also to network and to build relationships. And that's what keeps us all going, is be able to see our friends and to be able to one up them too, sometimes too, which is cool. Now, Paul brought up a great point. The Legendary Haunt Tour is not just for haunted house folks. You guys also have an epic Christmas show. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I think we might be in our 8th year of doing A Christmas Nightmare.
Okay.
And we can't claim that we were the first. There's been haunts doing Spooky Christmas for some time, but we saw it. We were the first in our market, and we saw it as something fun to bring. And it is, I hate saying this, like it's one of my favorite shows that we do, because it's just a strange mix how these two holidays just work. And to have Krampus and our characters change into these weird Christmas form creatures, it's just, especially too, it's the one time where like grandparents are showing up and wanting to see Krampus and see the haunt. And you got to remind them, like, this is still a spooky show. Like, we're still here to scare you. But we'll be doing it right around the Friday the 13th of December era. So definitely one weekend, maybe adding two, but for sure the 13th and the 14th. But I love it. And it's, being an owner, I used to always get to act in our haunts, and now it's just, we're so hands-on, I don't get to. So
right.
Christmas is that time to where I get to be spooky and get it out of my system and then reset for the following year. So please see us in Christmas too. It's a lot of fun.
We love that. We just got a question from JC Smith, who said, what's your craziest build?
I would say, our Monster Midway that we did in 2022 was nuts, because it's so big. You'll get to see it. there's so much to it, and it was just a wild year. But scenically, I feel like each year we always have one that just keeps outdoing the other. And so we've built this full cathedral church that makes Sunday school extremely scary at Dent. So it's just awesome because it's got these vaulted ceilings. We've made all this CGI of these different stained glass windows. We brought in pews, and just the architecture really took us from the start of the year until we opened just to get the build done. So we can't wait to see what you all think of our church. And it's super creepy and has a lot going on to it. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Love this. Love this. Great question, JC. Thank you very, very much. We actually have another question, and we ask this of a lot of our patrons, but somebody actually asked this, which is great. What is your favorite trick-or-treat candy?
Definitely not pennies. Nope, or toothpaste. None of that. That's not trick-or-treat.
No.
I'm a classic. Like I'm going to say two. I'm a Kit Kat guy myself.
Great choice.
I love Kit Kats. And there's something about the Reese's shaped pumpkins that taste different than a Reese cup. So if I choose that, it almost
feels like there's a little bit more filling, like a little bit more Reese's.
Right. It's a little creamier. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely, the ghosts all the way, or the pumpkins.
Now, have you ever tried them frozen?
No, I don't think so.
Give it a shot one time. We'll have to connect and see what you think. My favorite way. Oh my gosh. Bud, this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time. I know you're at the haunt still working because you guys reopened in a few days here for your normal season. Reopen, that is.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we missed or anything that you want to say to all the folks that are listening who might be on the fence and can't wait to get to Dent or want to see Dent?
Yeah, we've really wanted to be on this tour because we've just really enjoyed the Legendary Haunt series. Like there's just some amazing haunts on there. And too, like we're here to entertain you. I know the haunt season, especially this year, has seemed pretty crazy. So first off, I'm excited to have some cold beers with everyone at the after party. But before then, our crew's so jazzed and so excited. And we really have tried to pull out all the stops this year to make our show and experience for everyone on this tour something special. And we're not open to the public. So we wanted to make sure that we know haunters want to take their time. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that flow and throughput has enough time to enjoy it from the haunt perspective, but still is nice and spooky and scary in the Dent world. So we can't wait. We're super excited.
Love this. Love this. Well, Robert, we're sharing some pictures during our interview, but if you wanted to check out more, go to dentschoolhouse.com. And the only place to get tickets to see Dent live and in action during the Legendary Haunt Tour is legendaryhaunttour.com. Bud, on behalf of all of TransWorld, thank you so much.
Appreciate you. It's been fun being on here.
Absolutely. We can't wait to see you in a few weeks, and we hope the rest of October goes well.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll see you guys.
See you soon. Holy cow. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Let's go now. Seriously. Well, in that true, beautiful TransWorld Live fashion, wait, there's more. You know this guy. He's a living legend. He's been sitting in the green room. He's been waiting to come out. And we normally introduce him from his day job. But he also has another job, ladies and gentlemen, from Froggy's Fog, and very appropriate to this tour, the Lynd Fruit Farm. That's right, folks. It's Scott Tater Lynd.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, you can't see it, but I got my Reese's pumpkins right over here.
See, I know you were with Bud and I about these. They do taste different.
All the shaped Reese's taste so much better than the regular Reese's, 100%.
They do. It's like a thicker pocket of filling or whatever you want. Now, have you tried them frozen?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a frozen fan, or were you?
My teeth aren't very good anymore, Chris,
okay,
or what I have left of them.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I don't. Sam's Club actually sells the big boxes like this.
Okay.
So I buy a Sam's Club membership every October to just go in and buy.
Just for that
cases of the pumpkins.
Oh my gosh. I agree with you. Seriously. And the problem, it's like Oreos or like some other cookies. The reason I can't have them, I don't have any willpower. So if they're here, I know they're here and I'll be like, oh, I'll just have one. And then all of a sudden, yeah, exactly. Then like 8 are gone.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How's your October? What's going on?
Well, it's been a year, buddy. It's been a year.
Yes, it has.
And I've had to relinquish my bus captain spot for this tour because you're coming to my orchard.
It's the weirdest thing. So we were just on with Big Scary Show the other day, and last week's episode, we actually got a lot of questions. Will Tater be a bus captain? It is just weird because no, you're not going to be on the buses because you're actually performing here.
I will. The goal is I'm going to be in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then we're going to wake up early enough and beat the buses to the orchard, make sure everything's set up correctly.
Okay.
And then follow the buses
to John's and Canton and Akron. Yeah.
And I've done that drive so many times I could probably do it blindfolded.
I believe that.
So, it's not a big deal, but when we first signed up for this, we planned a normal October.
Yeah.
And we have not had that. We have not had that here at the orchard. So
same with us.
It's been a year. We survived a April frost and a tornado and extreme heat and lack of rain. And the orchard's still going. That's the good news. The orchard's still there. The you pick apples are gone, so you can
sure.
If you're coming on Legendary to try to pick your own apples, it ain't gonna happen. You can pick them right out of the market where we're gonna be for. I think we got an hour. I got an hour for you guys.
Yeah,
that's about all I got is about an hour.
We do get some lunch there and having a nice time.
Get a box lunch. We're gonna send you on your way with a box lunch so you can eat it on the bus.
Beautiful.
It is quite chilly here right now, so. It could go up to 90 degrees or it could go down to 20 degrees. I don't know. And the only area that I have that would seat everybody would be an open aired situation. And I didn't want anybody to freeze. So
of course not. Of course not. Now, normally we obviously talk about Froggy's Fog, but we're really excited because we get to talk all about your apples and all about your family's farm that's been in your name for over 105 years.
Yes, the orchard started here in 1919 from my great grandpa, I think. Maybe just my great grandpa.
Okay.
It just might be my great grandpa. And then it's been here ever since. Obviously, we can't pick any apples up and just pick up apple trees and move them across. So our orchard is kind of unique. It's divided by the road in 4 different sections. So the market is going to be in one section and the corn maze is in another quadrant of the orchard. So what you're coming to though is the market. So we will have fingers crossed I will have apples for you guys to sample. Some cider in half gallons and gallons or hopefully little chug sizes. I call them chug sizes.
Cool.
I don't know what you guys call them in Chicago.
Little pints or
little
guys. Little chugs.
Yeah. Sizes. I'm going to have donuts for sample or for purchase. I believe apple cider donuts. The market will be open for regular things, so it's going to have all the good little knickknacks and T-shirts and sweatshirts and hats and potato chips and whatever produce we can find that's still available, meats and cheeses and stuff. So even if you don't like the lunch that we give you, you can buy little snack meats and cheeses and cinnamon rolls and cookies and stuff.
We have been bragging and talking about the dehydrated apple slices that melt in your mouth like cotton candy. Will you guys have a bunch of those?
I will absolutely make sure that we have dehydrated apple chips.
Yes.
For you.
Oh, so good. So good.
It's probably going to be Ludacris, which is the one that you like. So Ludacris for Gold Rush. If the donut truck is operating, if we get the donuts, which last I talked to my cousin, we were going to do donuts for sure. Hard cider is a possibility. Not hard cider, but hot cider is a possibility. So what I tell everybody is get a cup of the hot cider
Mhm.
and take one of the dehydrated apple chips and drop it immediately into your hot apple cider. By the
Ooh,
time you get to the bottom of that glass, it's like a baked apple because all the cinnamon, all the spices,
sure.
in that cider cup gets you a nice little treat at the end of that.
People are just blowing up the comments here. Sean asks if you do have a hard cider.
I do not have a hard cider. Something we were looking into at one point. I don't know where it was, where it's at now, but
Sure.
during COVID, I had my cousin dropped off like a case of stuff. He put carbonation in it, which I didn't
Okay.
like. But we will. Well, I'm not going to say no to hard cider. It's but right now we're really busy. You'll see
Understood.
we outgrew the market that we just built in 2016 already. So
Brett wants to know, are you going to have some roasted chestnuts?
we may have chestnuts, but they will not be roasted. I know we're selling chestnuts now. I don't have a roaster. We just got city water out there. Unfortunately, they are going to be very clean porta-johns, but there will be porta-johns for the restroom situation because we don't have city sewer yet.
Understood.
So,
Understood.
the fry pies are going to be out there. I saw some people asking about a fry pie.
People are definitely asking about the pie.
Yeah. So
those are crazy good. Oh my gosh. I remember when you unloaded your suitcase at TransWorld or one of our meetings or whatever, and you have like 12 different varieties, maybe more. Maybe I'm under on the count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I try to bring some, but sometimes they get smashed in the airplane shuffle.
Now
that we do.
I think I'm going to start a cool debate because I want everybody to taste the Ludacrisp apple. The first time you had let us taste that, I think, and again, this may start some commotion here. I think it's probably as good. Like, I have a hankering for Reese's as much as I do your Ludacrisp apple. It is that good. It is just amazing. And for those that haven't tasted it yet, you're in for a treat.
So one of two things is going to happen. Either you are going to absolutely love the apple or you're going to hate the apple. There is no, on that apple, there is no middle ground. It's a very unique apple. It has notes of pineapple and citrusy. We called it for a while juicy fruit, but we realized that Wrigley's had better lawyers and more money than we did. So we changed the name. If you have the gene that makes cilantro taste like soap, that apple is absolutely going to taste like a bar soap.
Okay.
So there are going to be some people that take a bite of it and say this tastes like soap, and you just move on.
Sure.
There's going to be other Gold Rush and Evercrisp, but I think are going to be the only other two that doesn't that has we're going to have available. Maybe if I can find some others that I've stashed in the cold storage.
But it's amazing the science behind it. That's really cool. Like,
there's a lot of science. Evercrisp is the one that kind of put us on the map. Hand pollinated by my uncle.
Wow.
Using a Fuji tree that we have here on the farm from Japan. Went up to another orchard in Indiana and used their Honeycrisp blossom. And you could do that 1,000 times and you can get 1,000 different apples. So one of those is Evercrisp. One of those is Ludacrisp. And you will taste both of them. And it's a huge difference between the two.
Now, we know you have a lot of fans that are in this chat, a lot of fans outside of this chat for both Haunt and for apples. But I don't think anybody has a bigger celebrity endorsement than Chris Angel. You got to tell us about this.
I know. I met Chris doing day job stuff.
Okay.
And I just shipped him a box of our apples saying, hey, thanks for everything, whatever he did. And he has bothered me every day for the last 2 weeks. I was just hanging out with Sean Mills, so Sean Mills knows, he wants a subscription-based Apple service and us to ship him apples. Now we can ship apples to every state but the West Coast, so Oregon, Washington, California, and Arizona. I cannot ship to those. And Alaska and Hawaii, I cannot ship to those.
Okay.
So if you're at the market and you want some of those apples to be shipped home to you, we can do that as well. Or you can call the market or talk to me, and I will give you the number to call the market and order some shipped apples.
That's awesome. That is
it
awesome.
does.
What kinds of apples did you ship him? Just so that, for those that are going to come buy some from you.
He just got Evercrisp, and he
Okay.
really likes the Evercrisp.
Nice.
I shipped
Nice.
him Evercrisp, Ludacrisp, Pixie Crunch, which I still might have some Pixie Crunch left by November 9th. It's gonna,
It'll be close.
it depends on. This is the first year, Chris, that we have
Yeah.
ever run out of U-Pick apples,
Are you serious?
and we have U-Pick is usually up
Mhm.
until October 30th,
Okay.
31st.
Sure.
But like Halloween, we shut down the U-Pick orchard, and then we sell all the rest of it in the market. Well, because of the drought year and the lack of rain and the extreme heat, everything ripened about 3 weeks early. So
Okay.
last weekend was the last weekend for U-Pick, and I've never had 3 weeks in a row where I've never had U-Pick apples before.
Wow.
So all the people that were, kind of weeding out and going to the orchard to pick them are all now flooding into the market and buying them. So it's an interesting year, but we feel that we have a side orchard and we have friends around
Yeah.
that we can always get apples if we need to.
Oh, for sure. Now, we do have a question for those that are going to be stopping by the farm during the legendary haunt tour. Will they be able to shoot the apple cannon?
So the apple cannon will be closed down. It's on the other side of the road.
Okay.
And we do not have a way to get you safely over there.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately. But I'll try to get at least so you guys could see them. Park the trailer there so you guys could see at least one of them to see what the apple cannons look like. But I am not hooking it up to air because my house is right behind the market and I don't need an apple crashing through my window.
What?
I know.
Come on.
I know.
Come on now. Now, you and I and you have been on bus tours way longer than I have. Why? You get to see both sides of this. We have a special stop right at your apple farm and your whole fruit farm. But you've been on these tours for a very, very long time. For anybody that's on the fence or questioning what is the purpose, why do they come to the legendary haunt tour? Can you tell everybody why they should come?
Well, I mean, you're starting it off strong. Jen's doing a really good job. With USS Nightmare and Dent Schoolhouse. They are in my top 10s of haunted houses. They are great down in Cincinnati. Then you come up to me, you go up to Factory of Terror, which was a Guinness Book of World Records for longest haunt.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not going to get you on the bus, he's got 5 bars in there. Okay, he's got 5 bars and a whole. We don't really talk about this during Halloween, but a whole Christmas section as well that he's probably going to show you. And he's got the Akron Schoolhouse and Lab. That's the haunt when he bought it. Me and Katie Lane managed for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So they all have very sentimental value to me. Bud and Josh have when Granny was around, when she wasn't the dead legs that you just see legs behind me, Chris.
I see him.
I promise that's not somebody napping. That's a problem.
That's the best reason we have you on. It's
they
awesome.
Would have Granny come out and work Dent Schoolhouse.
Sure.
And they've always supportive. And they have a Tater Award hanging in there for the most entertaining, or I think that's what that was. So it's always a really good spot. It's a really special place. And it's a really solid, strong lineup this year. He's got some amazing haunts. You got, John's show is just so incredible because it's so big and massive. And Dent Schoolhouse is just authentic to the detail, where they have missing children posters hanging in the lobby. And you actually kind of get a eerie presence when you walk in.
Yeah.
You don't very much see a haunted boat. And you're walking down by the boat and there's, down by the paddle wheels and the engine rooms and everything. It's going in Akron Schoolhouse. Boy, if you've never seen a Tesla coil a couple inches from your face, you're really going to light up with excitement there. That's for sure.
It's electrifying.
It's electrifying. Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
And
Okay.
then you get a little apple, or you get a little chug of cider, and you go, stretch your legs, grab some cider, grab the apple cider donuts are to die for. Cider, we have been voted best cider in the state for 4 years now.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to have different varieties of cider, and then somebody sampling cider too.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot to throw at you in an hour. Hopefully we all can process through there. Hopefully we can all get through there. If not, well, whoops, my bad. I know Jen's watching and she's just going to kill me.
Now, a big question that came up last week, and I'm sure some people are thinking it this week, we just haven't seen it yet. Will Granny make an appearance at all during the weekend?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Just doing everything from the orchard, and then I expect some people to drive, and I'll show them, or hang around with them at the market for a little bit longer or whatever, and then catch up to the buses in Akron. I just won't have time. And I'll be exhausted if I try to do it before to at Dent or USS 9.
Sure. No,
it would be great, but I just don't, until I clone myself, I don't think I can do it.
Cloning technology. We love this. Well, hey, listen, you have inspired a lot of folks over the years. Obviously, we've gotten to become really, really good friends, and you're very important to my life and to a lot of people's lives. Who are your inspirations? We never get a chance to really talk about you and what drives you.
There's a lot of really, really good people. I mean, Alan and Shannon Hops comes to mind. Laura and Ben Armstrong come to mind. Jen and Rich, they all saw it. I'm going to forget somebody and they're going to get mad at me, Chris. So why are you doing this to me? We don't
get a chance to talk about you, though.
That's there's a lot of people that opened their doors, took a chance. Laura out in Hobbs Grove, I don't think she gets enough credit out there in California. Really, really, really nice people that have really kind of taken a chance, Sure. When Granny was young or I was young, I would and was able to do Granny, I would always make sure, like, hey, this is what you're going to get. This is what you're signing up for. Is this what you want? And they would always say, yes, absolutely. And, thankful for all of the people that are down there that did that and took a chance. So it's kind of a neat thing, know.
It's a cool industry.
and I'm still learning. Shannon Hops has taught me a lot over the last years. How to try to act graceful when in ungraceful moments.
Amen to that. Boy, has she been a guiding light for both of us.
Yeah. So
very much so. Well, dude, this is always a pleasure here. Is there anything that we missed? What could you say to everybody listening or that's going to be watching this and maybe on the fence or just needing that extra push?
You're not going to want to miss this tour. I am opening my orchard for you to get the apples so I don't have to get harassed at a show for apples.
You love it.
Come and get your apples at the market where the tree, you can literally look and see the apple trees that we picked the apples from.
That's so awesome.
It doesn't get much fresher than that. It doesn't get much better than that. None of my apples have a wax coating like you get in the store.
Yeah.
All my apples are crisp and juicy and nice and fresh.
And truly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Tater is such an expert on this stuff. Give him any questions that you have. Please ask him. He has educated Jen and myself and Rich and Nicole and everybody when we're at meetings and things like that. He just blows our mind with it. It's truly amazing. So,
yeah. And I'll be on site, obviously. I'll try to have my brother and my uncle on site, my cousins and stuff around to see. If you do have questions, we make sure we get them answered. I mean, it's a 300-acre apple orchard, guys. Yeah. It's a very large operation. It's a very large apple orchard. And all of our apples go to the public. It's not, we don't sell to the stores, so you can't get them in the stores. All my apples are you pick or sold in the market directly. The orchard is in, it's called Pataskala, Ohio. It's about 20 to 30 minutes outside of Columbus.
Yeah, just east, right?
Just east.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. East of Columbus.
Good question. Good question.
So,
well, as you're starting your shopping list, Lynd Fruit Farm, that's Lynd fruitfarm.com. Go check it out. Start making your shopping list and get ready.
Did you see the picture of the donuts and the cider, Chris? We should.
Oh my gosh. I saw Robert putting them up there.
Look at that.
And you've got the slice in there too, the apple crisp.
And nothing goes better than, and we can use about a half a gallon per batch of cider, per batch of donuts we make. So it really injects the cider into those donuts.
Oh, I think people are going to be hopped up on the bus, getting ready to go.
Getting all sugared up.
Yeah.
You're going to get them up at 8:30. They're going to be at my orchard by 10, 11 or something. And then we'll get them a good breakfast and a lunch.
I am great. And literally, if you've not had a chance to taste these, you definitely are going to get that chance during Legendary Haunt Tour. But during all of the shows that we run, we're grateful for Tater because he does bring us these snacks that keep us fueled for the entire run of the show. And they're just wholesome, homemade products that he said you can't get in the store. And it's the highest quality you're going to get. I don't know where you're going to get any better.
I do want to make sure that people realize the cider is not pasteurized. It must be refrigerated. It is only UV treated. So if you're going to plan on getting a gallon of cider or whatever, plan on bringing a cooler or somehow finding a way for it to get home. I cannot ship cider or anything like that.
That's it.
So get your hotel, get your seat on the bus.
That's it.
Come and get me.
That's it. There's only one place to get tickets and find out all of the information about the itinerary and all of your travel and your hotels, legendaryhaunttour.com. And we'll get a chance to see Tater and all of those 4 amazing haunts. And of course, you can check out froggiesfog.com for his day job stuff too. Our premier show sponsor. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us here. We will be back next Tuesday, October 22nd, for more talk about Legendary, more talk about October. And we hope that you go out and support your local haunted attraction. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week.